How's it going, YouTube? JamieTheKid00 here, coming to you guys with an updated wind-up deck profile. I finally managed to tear myself away from the horrible Summoner Monk build because I kept on trying to revive wind-ups that way, and you swiftly learn after testing it that it just is not the way to do it. The way I've found to play wind-ups, which is a lot more effective, is a far more control-y build that really focuses on the interaction of Wind-Up Rabbit with basically every other card in the deck. The amount of advantage you can generate using the Wind-Up Rabbit and things like Factory and things like Magician. So, I've been recording duels on Dueling Network and DevPro, so maybe I'll be able to montage those and put them together in another video, so you will really understand how this deck works, because I'm not really going to be able to talk through many of the combos, because I'm not in that much of a talking state at the moment. But I felt the need to actually show you guys my profile and show you guys what I've been working with. It is still slightly inconsistent, but that's going to be inherent on a deck that has been hit so much with the ban list. But when you do manage to get your advantage engine rolling, you're in a really good position. So we're going to start off with the card which holds this deck together. 3 copies of Wind-Up Rabbit. Wind-Up Rabbit does so many things in this deck now. It cycles your Magicians, keeps a lot of your monsters safe from things like Bottomless. It is your invulnerable beater while you remove all the obstacles with your bigger Exceeders. You will forever be poking with that 1400. And it just generates so much advantage off of, as I said, Factory and Magician. So I can't really go into how detail on how to explain it, simply because there are so many different situations with it and so many different interactions that I'd be sitting here all day telling you about them. But if you've played wind-ups before, you should full well understand the interaction of Rabbit with Magician and the amount of a toolbox that it gives you. Then I play the one Magician. Protecting this card is so essential, and I often find myself I often find myself trying to put myself in a position where I have this removed and a rat removed, and you basically can make whatever you want whenever you want for the rest of the game. You can keep bouncing the Magician and the rat, of course, until you run out of targets in deck. But if you can keep bouncing the Magician and the rat with the Rabbit plays, you're gold. You have won the game. Then I play 3 copies of Wind-Up Shark because it's still integral to the deck, still incredible. You should all know how good Shark is. Then a card which I find works really nicely in tandem with Shark, 3 copies of Wind-Up Rat. Your rat, there's something I like to refer to as the Rat Rabbit engine, which is basically if you can keep having a rat bouncing back and forth due to the effect of Rabbit, you are going to be in a massive position to make advantage plays. You can keep cycling your rat to keep cycling stuff out of the graveyard using your Rabbit effects. It's just an absolutely amazing card to cycle. Then we play 2 copies of Wind-Up Warrior. Again, it is your X-Saber Invoker target. I've been bouncing between 2 warrior or 1 warrior, 1 soldier, but I found that the warrior is so... Again, it interacts with other wind-up cards so much better than the soldier. The soldier just kind of works on its own, kind of like Shark, but this interacts with Rat so much better, and interacts with things like Magician, and makes much better combo plays. So I felt the warrior was kind of the better card. Then, for the non-wind-up components, I play 2 copies of Tour Guide from the Underworld, because the ability to make an instant rank 3 in this deck is really quite good, especially when you're making your Invoker Volcasaurus plays, which I'll probably talk about at the end of the video. Tour Guide is absolutely essential. And to be fair, the Invoker Volcasaurus play is probably one of the best plays in the deck now, because you can make such massive OTKs, it's just so good. Then, for the final monster, we play 1 copy of Brotherhood of the Firefist Bear. The bear is teched in here because we play 3 copies of Fire Formation Tenki. And when you're in a position where A, you open this up and you can attack over an opponent's weak monster quite early in the game, or if you have an Exceed monster that's able to bear down on your opponent and you're able to push through with the bear, you're able to generate advantage by getting your Tenki to get your Rabbit, or early on, Tenki gives you access to this, which can then poke direct by killing the Tenki to kill their monster, poking direct, getting a Tenki and getting you a Rabbit. Also, it just opens up so many variable plays. It's just really worth playing when you play 3 Tenki. If you play 3 Tenki, you don't want to just be searching Rabbits. You want to have another option to remove a key obstacle. So that is the monster lineup. I believe it's 16 monsters, but I could be mistaken. It's either 16 or 14. I think it's 16. And I keep having an itch to put in Snowman Eaters, but I can't really find the room. This is 41 cards at the moment, and I guess there are traps I can cut, but I really like my trap lineup. But at the same time, I really think this deck should have Snowman Eaters. The spells we play, of course, the Trinity of Reborn, Darkhold, and Storm. There's no reason not to. No book at the moment. I'm not really a big fan of book in this format. 1, Pot of Avarice, because recycling your plays is fundamental in this deck. Pot of Avarice is so overpowered in this. It's like plants. Wind-ups right now are like the Xyz version of plants, to be honest. You can just explode from the graveyard. Then we played 2 copies of MST, because I was playing 3 and 1 Lance, but I ended up dropping 1 MST because I didn't feel that the third was that necessary, and I side it now. And in its place, I play the second Lance, so I play 2 copies of Forbidden Lance. Forbidden Lance was really... It was the card that I was missing in testing. Your plays will go off and off and off and off when they're still little wind-ups, but the moment you summon your Invoker or anything big like that, it's going to get Bottomless, because the Bottomlesses just sit there until you go into an Xyz. The Lances save them from that. Same with Torrentials, same with things like that. The Lances protect them. So, Lance went in, and it's so good. So, I'd play 3 if I had more if I played more bears in the deck, but I feel that 2 is the good number at this point. And as I was saying, this Lance interacts really nicely with the bear I play in the deck as well. So the synergy is really quite good. Then I play 3 copies of Wind Up Factory. You have to play 3 now. Wind Up Factory is the best advantage card in the format at the moment. I feel it is the single best advantage card to work in tandem with an archetype that's ever existed. And if you're not abusing it with this deck, I don't know how you're able to run this deck. The ability to abuse this card with Wind Up Rabbit and your other Wind Up plays, it basically means you can go off and put a backup play in your hand as well. So it means you're going off with no risk. So Wind Up Factory is so damn good. And then for the final 3 spells, we play 3 copies of Fire Formation Tenki to search out our rabbits or our bear really early whenever we need them. Because if you have the factory and don't have the rabbit, you're in a sorry state. You really want to have that rabbit online as soon as possible, even without a factory. It can generate you loads of advantage with other monsters, and loads of safety with other monsters, so you want to have that Tenki online. So that's the spells. For the traps, we play quite a few because, to be fair, you want to keep your opponent at bay while you're trying to set up your stuff, because you do have a dull couple of turns where you're setting up the Magician Rat engine, so you do need to keep your opponent at bay. So we play the 1 Mirror Force. You all know I like 1 at the moment. 2 copies of Deep Prison, just because Deep Prison is good. 2 copies of Fiendish Chain, because we don't play Veiler, and Fiendish Chain is really good at stopping plays at the moment, so I'm really quite liking Fiendish Chain as a card, especially in decks where I want to keep my opponent controlled like this. 2 Bottomless Trap Hole, because it's amazing against Mermails, and Macro Rabbit and things like that, and Fire Fist if they don't have the Lance. 2 copies of Torrential Tribute, because you can afford to blow up your own field when you're regenerating pluses, and it's great when your opponent summons over Rabbit, you're able to Torrential and you banish the Rabbit, so you lose nothing and everything comes back for you. Then for the 1-offs, we play 1 Solemn Warning, 1 Solemn Judgment, and then 1 Huge Revolution is over. This would be a Starlight Road, but to be honest, there was no room for the for the Stardust Dragon, so I felt that this was a better card because it's a counter trap and it can't be warning because it doesn't have a summoning effect like Road, and it can't be chained to by Largia because it's a counter trap, so it's better than Starlight Road, and because I don't have the room, why would I run Starlight Road if I'm not going to summon a Stardust Dragon? So that is the main deck. The extra deck is so tight for space. There are so many more things I want to play that I've cut, and I'm constantly changing this extra deck, but this is what I'm most comfortable with at the moment. So it consists of 1 Wind Up Zen Mains, because Zen Mains is great. I don't actually make it that often. I don't actually find myself needing to stall that often, but when I'm in a position where I really need the stall, the Zen Mains comes into its own. 1 MX Saber Invoker. While we play the Invoker in this deck, we don't play towards the OTK, so the Invoker is in there mainly for the Volcasaurus play, which we'll get to in a bit, but the Invoker is still an incredible powerhouse in the deck. 1 Leviathan Dragon. I was playing Acid Golem over this, but I died a lot to it, to be fair, so I felt that Leviathan Dragon was a lot more reliable, so Leviathan Dragon went back in and Acid Golem came out. Then we play 1 Leviair, because Leviair is really good, especially in tandem with your Rabbit plays and stuff you can banish. Leviair just works really well as a pseudo Zen Mighty, so I love Leviair. It's such a good card. We play 1 Giga Brilliant, because Giga Brilliant is still incredible in boosting up your monsters, so enough said about that. And then we play 1 Temtempo. Never play this card on DevPro, because DevPro doesn't understand the concept of Temtempoing your opponent's standby phase. You're not actually allowed to activate it. But Temtempo is still really good at stripping down your opponent's Xyz monsters, so it's a flawless card that I don't think will leave people's extra decks for quite a while, in decks that can spam 3s. That's the 3s. For the 4s, play 1 Utopia, 1 Direwolf, because you can make so many advantage plays with this in tandem with Rabbit. You can act a lot. I've had trouble on Dueling Network for this. This has a ruling similar to Scrap Dragon, wherein if one of its targets leaves the field, the other target is still destroyed. Because you can go this and have a Rabbit, or a target for Rabbit. You can target that card, which will usually be a Rabbit or a Rat. You'll then banish that target using Rabbit's effect. And of course, you've targeted your opponent's monster. Your opponent's monster will still die, and you will be able to banish your own card, which basically means you lose nothing. So it gives you free pops with Direwolf, which is awesome. So Dire is really good in this deck. 1 Maestrik, because Maestrik is Maestrik, it's so good. 1 Abyss Dweller, because with Shark this is 22, and it's so good against so many decks, so really, really good. one Power Preparative, and that rounds off our 4s. And then for the 5s, we play 1 Tyrus. I've cut the Adreus for the Volcasaurus, which we'll get to in a second. 1 Zenmaio, because Zenmaio is 2 boss, 2 boss. 1 Volcasaurus, because it's so good. And then to go with the Volcasaurus, we play 1 Gaia and the Thunder Charger. And against certain decks, I'm considering siding Mind Control, because this is so good in tandem with it. But yeah, I keep on going on about the Volcasaurus play, and the Volcasaurus play is really, like, the way I do it is incredibly simple, but I know there's probably a way better play to do this with. You've been generating advantage, of course, with your rabbits. You've been baiting out your opponent's stuff by summoning your own stuff, and you've got a free 2 rabbits coming back. You've used your normal summon and you've baited out their back row, or you have a way around their back row. You now have your 2 rabbits, or you've just played your tour guide. You're able to, say this is also in your hand. You're going to need a shark, and you're going to need a way to make a rank 3. You're just going to go 2 rabbits together. Make, of course, Captain Invoker. Use your Invoker's effect to get you a copy of Wind Up Warrior. Yeah, then of course, in response to that, summon a warrior. You're going to drop your shark and Xyz by making them both level 5 into your Volcasaurus. Dash from your Volcasaurus, burn them for a considerable amount of damage, and then drop your Gaia Charger over that. You're then going to be able to deal what is basically 4-2 off of just this, which is great to deal 4-2 off of just this play. And then you're going to easily be able to go, I believe it's 4-2. It's 4-4. My math is terrible. You're going to be able to do just crazy plays. It's not even 4-4. I give up on math. It's really late. You're going to be able to make crazy plays with the amount of burn you can deal with this, and then swing them with this. If you're able to make 1 more Xyz monster, that should be game. So the OTKs in the combo plays that you can pull off with this are outrageous. And as I was saying, if you've got 2 rabbits bouncing back, or if you're able to make 2 level 3s off of having bouncing back rabbits, and you have with the shark in hand, you can make this and still not even have used your normal summon. So say your warrior is now in grave, you're able to go rat, get the warrior, and make some kind of level 4 that's going to lead you to victory. So I mean, leave yourself with, say, a wolf or a utopia, and that is easily game with the burn effect if you burn something big enough. So yeah, that is the combo plays you can pull off with this deck. I mean, I just really enjoy how many things this deck can do anymore. I'm not playing windups because windups and it's popular because it was good. I'm playing windups because now it is genuinely a lot more fun. It's definitely a lot less degenerate, I feel. There's still some kind of really sacky plays, but now I find it much more of an enjoyable deck rather than just the herped up Magician Shark deck that it was over the last format, and it had been for about 3 formats. So, I hope you've enjoyed this kind of new lease of life on windups, and this is how I feel most comfortable playing it. If you have any advice you want to give me on my build, please feel free to shoot that advice my way. And if you want to see some more in-depth combo videos where I can actually make bigger plays instead of just faffing about making that Volcasaurus play that probably 99% of you already knew, please let me know in the comment section below. Otherwise, that's about all I wanted to talk about. This is Jamie the Kid 00, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out. Bye.